Everyone, Mark here. How's everyone doing today? Can I get a quick sound check just to make sure you guys can hear me okay? Welcome to another Greenbridge Investing Market Analysis. In this session, I want to talk about that recent Bitcoin trade. I had a couple of questions about as far as that limit order and why I think it's a good idea to cancel it. Although it's pretty much up to your discretion, but I'm going to explain why we are canceling it. So, with that being said, if you have any symbols that you would like to see, any markets, please share them in the channel now. So once I get through my analysis, I can get to the tickers and the markets that you want to see. All right, so with that being said, this is for educational purposes only. For investment advice, please consult a licensed investment advisor. Now, straight into Bitcoin. Let's first talk about this because, I want to cover forex. Obviously, there was some news today, all right, which changed a few things. And I want to talk about, what that looks like for forex and metals as well. So first thing I want to start here with is this Bitcoin situation. Now, I've been saying it over and over. I let everyone know in the chat room that as long as Bitcoin stays inside of this resistance zone, it's, the breakout favored a fake out, all right? This 11,600 to 12,300 is a pretty important zone that goes back a long time. I mean, if I look all the way back, you can see it goes back to like August of 2019. So, I don't just draw those lines randomly. And we tried to break out, but these areas, as you know, are very vulnerable to fake outs. Everyone jumps in long. You could see the sentiment. Everyone gets excited. Just check all the chat rooms and things like that. Check all the reports and stuff that you see on the internet. Everyone starts predicting all this ambitious and bullish stuff only to get caught in this. Okay, so my whole thing was if we could not close strongly above 12,300, this thing will probably give it back because all the longs get caught. Well, that's what we got. Didn't close strongly, got a bearish inside bar, took out the low of that inside bar at 11.8, and now we have another bearish candle. So that brings me to the answer. The question is, should we leave that order in for 11.5? We sent out a swing trade idea. It was like Friday or Saturday because I didn't want to buy into the high, which now we would be taking pain on if we had bought into that. I wanted to use a limit order to try to capitalize on noise. So I put an order in at 11.5, which never got filled. Now it's fooling around. Today's low is 11,600. Okay, 100 points off that order. We canceled the order. Okay, and the reason is with this type of momentum, I want to see if the market can produce the test of the inflection point that we'd really like to see, which is 10.5. Now, I don't know if the market will make it that low. It may not. But I'd rather be safe than get into a trade for in front of bearish momentum for no reason. The way I was trying to capitalize on that noise was I was trying to capitalize it while we were getting bullish candles, meaning the candle would fluctuate a bit, tap us in, and then close strong. That's what I was looking for. We never got that. Now we're just getting bearish candles, okay? So I would cancel the order, or like I said, we canceled the order, but I'm leaving it up to the trader. It's up to your discretion if you want to cancel that order or not. Because maybe you have a different risk tolerance and you don't mind taking some pain in that thing if it pulls back further. But what we'd like to see, to share a new swing trade idea along, is this current situation, right, where it's fooling around like this, maybe pulls in lower. Maybe, like I said, we don't get that 10.5, but maybe what we'll get is an inside bar set up somewhere between here and like 11K. Now, if I see something like that, I'd be open to an aggressive swing trade long, give it a try. Again, I'm not crazy about this whole general area, but if I see another buy signal, off of this support and, we clearly don't close below that 11K, then I'm open to that idea. If this thing closes below 11K, then I'd want to see a test of that 10.5. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for there. What even gives the possibility of that type of scenario is the fact that we got a failed high now on Bitcoin. And this goes for, like, if we take a look at all the altcoins, right? All the altcoins that everyone was getting all excited about. Litecoin, look at Litecoin. That said, don't get into this thing at these highs. Place to sell, right? What's another one that everyone is getting all excited about? Let's check out Ethereum. Oh, wrong symbol. Hold on. ETH, USD. See, like they're all doing the same thing. So again, it's the herd mentality. That's why I don't like highs. I don't get excited at highs. I don't like buying highs because you get caught in this. Now, if you're caught from the high, now you're in a psychologically weak situation because now you hope that the market comes back. It might, but it might not. Okay, and then any little thing may cause you to now bang it out at the worst possible price. What if Bitcoin stops going lower from here, okay, or Ethereum, for example? Yeah, bang it out right now because it looks horrible, and then it turns and gives a buy signal. You're likely to bang it out. Why? Because you're in a bad price. Okay, so back to Bitcoin, right? That's the situation. Bitcoin is obviously still the leader. So I would just hold off until we get a new signal. So like I said, even if we get a signal, what if tomorrow's candle produces an inside bar? Okay, I'd be open to that, although it's still a bad area. I'd be open, I'd give it a chance. The reason why I'd be open to something like that is because we do have higher lows. Okay, and this could fake out again. Like we get the bearish fake out followed by a bullish fake out. It can happen. But in order for me to even consider something like that, I need to see the setup, and I'd be open to a very small position, like a 1% type of risk type of situation. I'd be open to that. But again, we'll have to see. This is why we don't jump in ahead. We don't react. We let the market produce the setup. All right, so that's Bitcoin. Now let's take a look at some of these. Let's look at the Nasdaq real quick because this had an interesting move today. So this thing was strong earlier, and then at 2 o'clock, we had a change. Okay, and since then, now it's producing a bearish inside bar. It looks like, and we still have what, 30 minutes before this thing closes, but it looks like it's going to close weak. Let's take a look at the SPY real quick. Okay, look, same situation. The SPY could never really push that 339. Look at that. That blue line is the March peak. And coincidentally, we found selling activity there. This is, again, why I don't like buying highs, or I don't get excited at highs. I'd rather stay out, and I'd rather be patient. Now, it's hard to do to stay out sometimes because you see a lot of action around you. You see a lot of other people, sharing trade ideas. Oh, I made 100% in this. Oh, I made 1,000% in that in 5 minutes. You're going to see a lot of that, especially if they're day trading. We're not day trading, number one. So we have to be much more mindful of where we take positions. I don't like this location. Okay, like a week or two ago, everyone's saying, oh, sector rotation this, sector rotation that. I don't care what sector rotation nonsense. The level is not a level where I like to belong. That's it. Very simple. So, again, all that stuff that you see on TV, all that stuff that you see experts talking about on, on blogs or on whatever, they're doing that to get attention and to monetize that attention. If they really were going to give valuable information about, what the market was likely to do, they probably wouldn't be saying it or giving it away for free. Okay? So just something to keep in mind. Now, this market is possibly at a peak here. Now we have that short call. I believe we're still in that call. I don't know if Andrew closed it out. Just had a lot going on over here. But this is in position to capitalize. That short call is in position to capitalize on something like this if we get the follow through. Okay, if we get the bearish follow through. So something to keep in mind there. Again, if hopefully you've locked in profits on your stocks, along the way here, and stocks that haven't been performing, like we've gotten stopped out of a number of stock trades that we've sent out while the Nasdaq was going higher. So I can only imagine what they're doing now. Let's take a look at Workhorse real quick. Right? Look, so Workhorse had that little pop yesterday, and I'm like, oh, maybe this thing will go to the target. Well, it hasn't made first target yet, and This is not a bad candle considering how that NASDAQ looks, but that NASDAQ really pulls back. This thing is likely to get stopped out. So that's where you have to use your discretion. If you're green in something like this, perhaps you take something off the table, reduce risk. You know, so something to keep in mind with that. Other stocks, like, you know, Roku. You know, what's going on with that? Hasn't really budged yet, but this thing starts taking out these supports, 143.5, you're going to see that break. What about stocks like NVIDIA, NVDA, right? That's been like the market leader, right? Look at this thing. Just a little minor pullback. I mean, this is really nothing major yet. But if that NASDAQ starts to go, right, and that S&P starts to pull back, which they are in a position to do, you're going to see that broader retrace in these things. These are not levels to be buying for swing trades, okay? So I just wanted to run through a couple of those as far as stocks go. Now let's take a look at some forex pairs real quick. Let's start with the euro dollar, because this one, again, and just like the pound against the dollar, they've been tough, right? Same situation as Bitcoin. If you look here, and by the way, guys, if you have any symbols you'd like to see, please share them in the channel now. So once I'm done with this, I can get to your symbols. If you look at this situation right here, right, this was a very vulnerable area for the euro. Now, I'm sure you saw a lot of forex traders. I don't know how many of you guys trade forex, but I'm sure there were a lot of forex traders calling for a euro breakout long, blah, blah, blah. And there was no euro breakout long, okay? It failed, just like Bitcoin. This is dollar strength. So same with the pound, right? The pound looked like it was going to the moon yesterday. GBP, USD. Look at this. And it gave it right back all in one candle. That's a very bearish situation as far as momentum goes. So, you know, that's why we didn't chase after these things. Now, the one that we're interested in is the dollar Canadian. Oh, that's the wrong one. Hold on. USD, CAD. We got long this thing twice, and we got stopped out of it twice. Okay, and now here we are again with another bullish candle developing here today. Now, upon this close, what's the high here? 32.14. So maybe tonight we'll send out a new swing trade idea. And like I said, I'm willing to try the Canadian long one more time because it's been in a location for a bullish reversal. It just hasn't materialized. And this is the third attempt. Here's the first attempt back here. We took that long, got stopped out. The second attempt was over here. Took that long, got stopped out. Here's the third attempt. We'll try this one more time, I said. But if this gets stopped out again, I'm done with the dollar Canadian. You just can't, if something's not working, you just don't keep forcing it. I'll try a third time, you know, as long as there's a setup, and there it is. So, you know, that means, so this trade idea here, forget these numbers. These numbers, this trade was stopped out, so I'll have to send out a new one. You know, like I said, what's the high of this candle? 32.14. So you figure maybe 32.30, 32.40, something like that may be the buy signal. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes toward the, you know, after the forex close and into the evening, because that's when we send that out. We don't just react just because we see a nice candle. Okay. So by the way, if you're new to the Greenbridge Investing channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel here. And also, if you like the video, please send me a like. Let me know. Press the like button, and that'll be great. Now, I don't see any questions. Any questions about any stocks you'd like to see? Any other markets? I want to take a look at gold real quick. All right, and this is the thing. So gold, and this is why I warned against taking the long signal too early. I warned against this. I said I don't like it. I don't like it because I'd like to see a more complex setup. And again, dollar strength, hammering this thing. So these are these people who don't understand, or they just want to jump in on anything. And now you get caught in this. I'm glad I'm not caught in this, but I'd like to see the test of the low again. All right, maybe 1860s, somewhere around there, maybe slightly lower for a high probability setup and a much more attractive buying opportunity. All right, so that's gold. All right, so florin, New Zealand dollar. Sure, let's take a look. Now, New Zealand dollar, like to get in on a new short. So we sent this out as a swing trade. Actually, no, this was this was a play of the week that we sent out, not the previous Monday, but the Monday before, right? 2 Mondays ago. We sent this out as a short, and I don't know, this 66.51 is the high. I don't remember. Do I have the order on here? Yeah. So 66.99 was the stop loss, right? And it looks like it never went there. This high was 66.51. So this is still in play, actually. Which it looked like garbage. I thought this thing was going to stop out for sure. Oh, you got stopped out? Did you have maybe you had a lower stop? Because I mean, I had 66.99 on this thing. And the highs here are 66.09, 66.51. So perhaps you used a tighter stop? Oh, okay. No problem. Well, I mean, with this pin bar, yeah, this looks like a short again, as far at least for an aggressive short. The problem with this thing, and that's why I was kind of hesitant to share this one as a short to begin with, was the general structure on this thing is bullish, right? And that's what I was concerned about. We have nothing but higher highs and higher lows on this structure, but you know, with this pin bar, and with the dollar picking up some strength here, which it's been overdue, this thing should pull back further. So at least you have the pin bar now in your favor. So yeah, I'd be open to a short. This is the same idea as the dollar Canadian long, by the way. I mean, they should be inverse. So, but if you were interested in the New Zealand short, let's see, the high is 66.51. So your stop again would have to probably go around that 66.90 area, somewhere around there. It's going to have to go. The entry on something like this, what's the low? 65.69. So you have to give it a little more room to let it work. So I would say like 65.40, something like that. I know sometimes it doesn't make sense. It's like, why should I give up all those pips? It's 20 pips I could have made. Well, you have to help avoid fake outs and stuff, to help avoid noise. It's a lot of times it's best to let the market work for that price. That's why we put them ahead of the market. Okay, somewhat. I mean, 20 pips is probably like as much as I would go. Usually, depends on the pair. Some pairs are more wild than others, but this one, 15 to 20 pips, I would use lower than the low. Okay, you don't want to put it exactly at the low, because again, that's how you get caught in noise. So, and the potential on this thing is decent if that dollar bullish momentum follows through. But you need to take out this 65.25. That needs to be taken out if this thing is going to produce anything, any kind of profit. Okay, so yeah, it's not a bad idea, Florin. It's not a bad idea, to give that another try. Just like again, but I mean, I prefer the Canadian instead of taking this thing, because the Canadian generally has a broader bullish structure, and I like the potential on the Canadian. I mean, here's, when I show you this chart, it looks pretty bearish, but when we just look out a bit, you could see that the Canadian is working with a pretty strong bullish structure, and we're producing that failed low there. I also like the profit potential on this thing. That's why I prefer to try the Canadian one more time rather than New Zealand. But that's, again, that's up to you. See, for us, we can only send one out. Like I can't send the New Zealand and the Canadian out. It's basically the same trade, so it's either one or the other. We don't want to we have to be mindful of our members, and I don't want to have our members double or triple the same position. If you're short the dollar, if you're long the dollar Canadian and short New Zealand dollar, it's basically the same trade. Your risk and your exposure is pretty much the same. So that's why it's one or the other. Okay. So anyway, so that's that. That's a great question. Thanks for asking. And so those are the forex pairs. Now, one stock. Do you guys have any stocks you'd like me to check out? One stock that I want to show you guys is this. I put this in the chat room yesterday, Groupon. Now, Groupon, I spotted it like a couple of weeks ago. Didn't do anything with it, right? Obviously, it had earnings or something over here with that gap, followed by the higher low. And look, even though the market's kind of turning today, this thing is still kind of strong. So, okay, all right, no problem, Florin. So, again, I have my eye on this one. I would like to, look for a long on here if this thing could give us maybe a little bit of a better setup or something. But I like the potential on this thing. So just something to keep on your radar, Groupon. But again, if the broader stock market pulls back, because why I hesitate with stocks, again, it brings me back to the S&P, is I don't like this situation right here. Okay, I really don't like this situation. I don't like getting long a bunch of stocks in this situation. Okay, I'd rather be buying, if I'm going to be buying a bunch of stocks for even for swing trades, because I'm talking about swing trades. I'm not talking about investing, longer term. I'd want to see this thing at least at some kind of inflection point, at least, or at least close to it, something. Okay, we have like nothing. So this is a vulnerable area still. I think the markets are very vulnerable, and I'd rather, see how that plays out than be overexposed with a bunch of stocks hoping for the best, which is very typical in these type of situations. People, they just, they're hopeful. They read some news. They get too caught up in fundamentals, but they don't realize the location is not a good one. Okay, and then next thing you know, a few days go by, and then some surprise news comes out of nowhere. Oh, we didn't know about this, and then the market sells off, and all the great fundamentals and all the stuff that they talk about, like yesterday and the day before, if you were watching the news, oh, new highs on this, oh, new highs on that, oh yeah, everyone's having a party, right? And then it's wiped out in 2 seconds, okay? And everyone forgets about it. So don't get caught up in that stuff. I know I've said that before, and I know many of you are now aware of that because I've mentioned that many times. It's just, you have to stick to your rules, stick to your plan, and stay out of trouble, right? And that's the best thing to do here. It's hard. It's hard to do. Like I said, when you see all kinds of things going on around you, but there are those periods when that's the best thing to do. So look at this thing. I mean, this thing was pretty strong, or it was pretty, I would say, neutral earlier, and now we're getting this bearish outside bar. Okay, and this thing is on its own. 33.62 is the low, and this thing's at, I'm sorry, 336.62, and we're only like 30 cents higher off that low. So not really a good sign going into the close of the day. This points to clues as far as the rest of the week having some bearish follow through. So watch out for that, okay? All right, so if I don't have any questions, I mean, the market's about to close here. I'll wrap this up. I don't see a lot of stock questions here that I usually get. Any other questions? Florin, thank you for your forex questions. Any other market that you'd like me to check out? Because I mean, like, the point of today's video was I really wanted to cover that Bitcoin situation and let people know why we canceled the limit order, what the difference is, and what the reasoning behind such a decision. Okay. All right. So that's it. And I'll wrap this up. Thank you guys again for taking the time to watch the video. Again, if you're new to Greenbridge, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can get email notifications from YouTube every time I do one of these. And also, if you like the video, please give me a like. Otherwise, I'll see you in the chat room. And thank you again for watching.